Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be memory planning with this gorgeous Graceful Muse kit called Rain. It actually matches the September monthly with the purple and green from her shop. Um, I really love the silver foil and yeah, excited to get into it. So, in my last video, I started to answer the get to know me questions from Planner Addict with 3 T's, her challenge, and I'm going to finish up answering them now. I think I got through about half of them. So, number 10 is if you could get your subscribers all in one room, what would you say? And I guess that means YouTube subscribers. I don't have a lot, but if I could get them all in one room, I would say thank you so much for watching my content. I really appreciate it and appreciate all the support and all the lovely comments you all leave me. So yeah, that's probably what I would say. And I'd ask everyone, what they were planning in and what they were, planning to use for next year with respect to planners and what stickers they were using. So yeah, it would be a thank you and, a chat, maybe over some cocktails. Number 11 is favorite show. And what's funny about this is that I feel like I go through so many different favorite shows. It's sort of like, what is my favorite show of the last few months, or what's my favorite show of a particular season? So I'll just talk about ones that I'm watching right now that I'm really enjoying. So Supernatural is a show that I have been watching for a while on Netflix. I watched it when it originally came out on the CW, which is channel 11 where I'm at, but might be different in your state. And it's about these two brothers who go around the country basically killing monsters like vampires and such. I just like it because it's funny, it's a little bit dark, it's good at doing that thing where each episode has its own storyline, but there's also a running storyline that goes across all the episodes. Also, my partner, Sean, who doesn't really like to watch TV, started watching it with me and really enjoyed it. And honestly, it's so hard to get him to watch things and enjoy them. So once he started liking it, I knew it was like the show for us. So that's a show that I've been watching that I really like. Another show that I sometimes have on just in the background while I'm working is American Dad. I am big into adult comedies just because, again, I think they're really funny. Sometimes the humor, it can be a little bit gross, I admit, and a little bit lowbrow, but sometimes it can be really witty in the case of Archer, and often in American Dad too. American Dad is definitely on the more kind of gross side sometimes, a little bit toilet humory, but can just be, funny, funny in a like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they said that kind of way. But I have been just having that on in the background. I will say Archer is one of my favorite animated comedies. I know the 11th season just started. I keep getting these alerts on Hulu that I need to watch it. But Archer humor is just so funny, so witty, just very deep, like puns. The show is a lot better in the earlier seasons. I feel like it's kind of fallen off in the last maybe 3 or 4 seasons, but I'm still a faithful watcher. And yeah, I'll definitely be checking out the 11th season. The last show that I'm watching that I'm really liking is a show called Criminal. It's on Netflix, and it has both like sort of country variations. So like Criminal France, Criminal Spain, Criminal Germany. I've been watching the Criminal France because I'm trying to improve my conversational French. It's not very good, but one of the things that I have heard that helps you with your French pronunciation and comprehension is watching shows in French. So I sometimes try to watch shows that I, have already watched in English with French dubs. And in this case for Criminal, it's French original language. So I watch it with the original French and the English dubs. I also just started watching I May Destroy You. It's that Michaela Cole story. She is, assaulted one night and she's trying to piece together what happened to her. I am not sure if I'll be able to finish that. The first episode, kind of gave me a little bit of a jolt, and I didn't really, like it. And sometimes I'm down to, watch that subject matter and I can handle it, and sometimes I can't. And so I'm not sure if I'll be continuing. Okay, 12, biggest fear. What is your biggest fear? I guess my biggest fear is something happening to my family members or close friends. And, I don't say I think about this all the time, but a big fear of mine would be something happening very suddenly to either one of my parents or my siblings. And I live pretty far away from them, so it would be hard for me to get there. And, God forbid if something, fatal happened to them, I think, I don't know if I could bear it. So that's probably my biggest fear, is something happening and me not being able to get there in time, or me not being able to be with them. Wow, that got morbid. So 13 is, how accurate is your planner, and are you always as productive as your plans seem? I'd say my planner is mostly accurate in that I generally get everything done that I say I'm going to get done, but stuff does spill over from day to day. So normally I'll plan to do maybe 3 or 4 things a day, and I'll definitely get things like my workout done, and definitely go to work, obviously, and get that done. But sometimes, I either forget to meditate, or I don't have time, or there's something that I plan to do on Monday that it ends up spilling over into Tuesday. So I'd say my plans are generally pretty accurate, but the day can sometimes shift depending on what goes on that week. In my Moxie life, I'd say it's pretty accurate because it is like a sort of schedule that I lay out every day, like time by time schedule. Some things do shift occasionally, but I'd say that is probably much more accurate. Number 14, what intimidates you about the community? I'm assuming this is talking about the planner community. What intimidates me about the planner community is, I don't know. I don't know what's intimidating. I wouldn't say I'm intimidated, really. There are things that obviously I just don't like to see, and things that kind of make me uncomfortable. But I wouldn't say I'm intimidated. I'm just here to have fun. And, I like to hang out and chat with, and, generally like look at people's spreads and interact with people who are fun. So I just like having fun. Number 15, your strengths and weaknesses. So I would say a strength of mine is my attention to detail and organization. I get complimented on that a lot at work, and in my personal life, I usually try to stay very organized and on top of things. This year, I've started sort of formally coaching and mentoring people, and because that's an additional thing on top of work and planning, I've had to be really organized about that. So I'd say that's a big strength of mine. A weakness is I am just a sweets person. I feel like I eat way too many sweets, and it is very hard for me to pass up an ice cream or a milkshake or something sweet that's delicious. Like, I have a hard time resisting that. And I know it's not good to eat too much sugar, but I just like a brownie or a cake. Very hard for me to resist. In terms of, sort of character flaws that are weaknesses, I would say that I can be a little bit of a people pleaser. I really want to make the people in my life happy, and I don't want to disappoint them or let them down. And sometimes that means I think about them and their needs before I think about myself and my needs. And not saying that you should never think about yourself, or think about other people, but I think in terms of priorities, sometimes I tend to prioritize, the people in my life and what they want and need more than taking care of myself. And I usually can tell that if it's been, a couple of days and I start to feel really worn down and really tired and kind of irritable, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? It's like, hey, have you been doing the things that you want to do? Have you been, doing stuff that feels restorative to you, that feels like, it would be really fun for you? And instead, have you been doing like what other people want to do and not really taking care of yourself? And so I'd say that's a weakness of mine. Can be a little bit people pleasy for the people I care about in my life, and to a certain extent at work sometimes, but I'm definitely working on that. Number 16 is best childhood memory. I think my best childhood memory is my dad took myself and my 2 biological siblings to the park. And we had our bikes. I think one of us may have even had roller skates, not roller blades. We were far too little for that. But it was a park and it had this huge, like, kind of plastic camel in the middle of it. And we all climbed on the camel and I like kind of swung off the camel's face. And it was just like a really fun moment. I think we got ice cream after that. And, you know, I occasionally think about that sometimes, you know, just because I am not able to be really close with my siblings. They live far away, and or my dad, quite frankly. He's also in the East Coast and I'm on the West Coast. So yeah, that's my favorite childhood memory. You know, I think it would be fun. I'm sure that park is not there anymore, but you know, after COVID, whenever that is, to just be with my siblings, you know, outside, having fun somewhere. I think that would be great. 18, which TV subscription do you use the most? I would say it's probably even balance between Netflix and Hulu. The shows that I mentioned were my favorite. One of them is on Netflix and one of them is on Hulu. So I'd say I spend sort of equal time watching those. Lately, my boyfriend and I have been watching cycling races on NBC, and I think he has the NBC Gold subscription, so we've been doing that. But I'd say Hulu and Netflix are the 2 that I split my time pretty evenly between. 19 is other YouTube channel genres you watch. So a big weakness of mine, I guess I should have mentioned this in the weakness section, is court dramas. So like divorce court, you know, not Judge Judy. I don't really care for Judge Judy, but like the People's Court, Judge Mathis, those kind of court shows, I love watching those. And you can kind of see the old episodes on YouTube. So I definitely watch a lot of those on YouTube. I also watched this series called Soft White Underbelly. And it's a director, his name's Mark Lyda, I think is how you pronounce it. And he interviews people that he meets on Skid Row. So some of them are people who are suffering from addiction, sex workers, you know, people who, are going through really tough life situations, and he talks to them. And I really enjoy it. I mean, I don't enjoy hearing about their lives because it's often very difficult, but I think it's important to like level set for me when I am feeling, you know, down on my life and like, oh, nothing's going right, to really understand that like there are bigger things out there than my issues. So I really enjoy that. I'm coming to the end of the video, so the last thing is a quote that I live by. And a quote that I live by, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, is a quote that I live by. I believe in treating people fairly and that everyone should do that. I feel like it's kind of simple. I mean, I don't really go around thinking about like life mottos, but that's something I try to practice in my relationships. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Hope you all enjoyed getting to know more about me, and I will see you next time. Bye!